With the release of Prey, we now have 7 films featuring the iconic Predator. So let's rank them from worst to best. Welcome to Box of Chocolates, where you never know what you're gonna get. We are capping off my Predator series, at least for now, with this ranking video. I've already done individual reviews for all the Predator movies, including the new release Prey and the Alien vs. Predator movies. You can check out the full playlist on my channel, and now we're gonna talk about them all from my least favorite to my favorite. All just gonna be my opinion, of course. Leave your opinions on all the movies, which ones you like, don't like, why you feel that way. Let me know all that down in the comments below so that we can talk about it. And we're not gonna go into any spoilers. I'm just gonna keep it vague. I'm gonna keep it light because I've already done full reviews. We're just gonna talk a little bit about each one as I go in order. It's been very fun doing this because I loved the original Predator ever since I was a kid, and it was fun getting to watch some of the sequels that I had been avoiding for years, revisiting some of the other ones, and it was just a fun series to talk about, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it as well. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. Number 7 at the very bottom, easily.
Oh my God. Something came after us. What came after? I don't know. Hold on.
Aliens vs. Predator Requiem was a disaster. The entire movie is so dark, unbelievably so, you can't see a damn thing. The characters are some of the worst. They're some of the most bland. I could not believe that the main guy was an ex-con who just got out of prison, and this had literally no relevance to anything ever. The cop was just taking him around to crime scenes, like everything was totally normal. They just tried to make a generic 2000 slasher with a horrible teen romance love triangle subplot in the middle of Alien and Predator. Bland story, barely anything to it whatsoever, complete waste of a Predator Xenomorph hybrid. This movie was horrendous, easily at the bottom of this list. Up above it, at number 6...
We're Rangers.
Hey Baxley, if your mom's vagina were a video game, it'd be rated E for everyone.
The Predator, definitely my least favorite of the main Predator series. This movie tries very hard to be humorous, and not only was I not laughing at all, I was physically cringing. The humor was not good for me whatsoever. The way it handled its story, it had some unique ideas in there, but the way it all panned out was very strange, where this young kid who has autism is propped up by the Predator as being an amazing warrior because of his autism, and the Predator wants to take his DNA for itself, and just very strange choices in there. There were reshoots, the whole third act was changed, so that feels very choppy and disjointed. It creates plot holes and inconsistencies. A lot of the cast of characters are not that likable or interesting, despite liking a couple like Boyd Holbrook and Trevante Rhodes. I think they were pretty good, but for the most part, this was just not the right path to take the Predator in. I don't need to see a big CG super Predator ever again. Stick with the amazing costumes, please. Moving on to number 5.
They're not hunting us. We're in the middle of a war.
The first, Alien vs. Predator. There are things about this movie that I like and that I respect, especially after watching Requiem, which makes this look like a goddamn masterpiece. But I think the human characters are just too uninteresting. Outside of our lead, played by Sana Lathan, and Lance Henriksen is also cool, a lot of them are just too boring, and it takes too long to get to the more compelling stuff. It's like an hour into the movie before the Xenomorph and the Predator fight, and when they do, it's cool. Outside of some CGI here and there, it's pretty cool, and it's a great story setup. If you're gonna do AVP, this is how you should do it. Very creative with the Predators and this temple and using the Xenomorphs for hunting. That stuff was very cool. I appreciated that a lot, especially comparing it to Requiem, but I just think the human element was not compelling enough to spend the first entire half of the movie with them building up. What we eventually got to was cool, but the entire journey didn't really work for me as a whole. Definitely has its good parts, but I still not really a big fan. And now we are moving up to number 4.
They can hear you, smell you, and see you.
Predators and AVP are close for me. I like the highs of AVP more, but the first hour of that movie is a pretty big low for me. Predators is more consistent, but it's more consistently in the middle. I think the biggest problem with this movie is that it feels like too much of a retread of the original Predator while being less effective. I like Adrian Brody in the role. I like Alice Braga here as well. There's some good cast members. I feel like a lot of them are wasted. A lot of them don't really have much to them. They're kind of disposed of very quickly. I feel like there was a missed opportunity with this alien planet. You really could have had a lot more unique stuff going on, but it is mostly an entertaining watch. I like the lead character because he's an asshole, and there's this theme throughout it of how far you should be willing to go to throw away your humanity for the sake of survival. Some stuff like that in there that I did enjoy. I gave it a middle of the road score in my review. It's perfectly watchable and can be entertaining. I just think it had a lot of potential that it didn't live up to. It's not a movie that I would just pop in on its own to rewatch, but if I were watching the Predator series, it's one that I might be willing to throw on and give another chance to, just for the hell of it. But now we're moving on to the top 3, and they are all movies that I genuinely like and would rewatch. So, number 3.
As bad as things are, they're about to get worse. Much worse.
Predator 2. This was my first time ever watching Predator 2, even though I saw the original so many times growing up. I never saw the second one. I thought, Predator in the city? What is that? That's weird. Danny Glover's in there? I'm not sure what that's going to be like, and I finally saw it. And kind of my favorite thing about doing this Predator review series is that I finally got to watch this because I was pleasantly surprised. It's very different than the first one in many ways, and I respect that. I respect it using a different setting, a different type of main character, and cast in general. I really enjoyed Bill Paxton in this. Danny Glover was badass. The Predator was still similar to the one in the first one, but slightly different enough with the tech that it used to make it feel like a different member of the species. And I just had a fun time with it. It was very enjoyable. It drags in the middle because Danny Glover is trying to figure out what's going on and what the Predator is and what these government guys are up to, and we know all that already. But it starts really strong, it ends really strong. It's not on the level of the original, but if you go in expecting it to just be fun and different, I think you can have a good time. I genuinely enjoyed it. And now, number 2.
Why do you want to hunt? Because you all think that I can't.
The new kid on the block, Prey. It's actually kind of close with Predator 2 and Prey, but I am going to give it to Prey. It's very well made. I'm very happy that we could finally say we have the best Predator movie since the original. After The Predator was not good at all, that they were able to make something like this. Amber Midthunder was badass. The Predator was badass. Fantastically helmed action scenes. Some of the best you're going to see. The best you're going to see in terms of just hand-to-hand combat in the entire Predator series. Really good. Great looking movie. I loved the back to basics approach, really capturing the spirit of that original 87 film while not feeling like a retread. Just these people in the 1700s, a Comanche tribe, and now you got a Predator. It's more primal. I like the different weaponry that was on display compared to what we're used to. Very cool ideas, very cool stuff. I would have preferred a little bit more from the main character's motivation. It was fine as a girl who wanted to prove herself as a warrior, totally serviceable, but could have been a lot better had you added more detail to her character. But other than that, I had a fun time with it. I definitely thought it was good, but you can expect it to live up to my number 1.
Bleeds. We can kill it.
Of course, it's the original Predator from 1987. I watched this movie so many times as a kid. Arnold Schwarzenegger was one of my heroes. I loved everything that he did. I will never forget the amazing manly handshake in this movie. Just these team of commandos who are established to be the roughest, toughest guys around, who have such immediate likability and camaraderie with each other, go in and mow down this army just to then start getting picked off slowly one by one in this jungle that John McTiernan directs so well. It feels like the jungle itself is coming alive and overpowering them, and there's this mystery and this suspense of what this thing is and what it can do and how it's taking these guys out so easily. There's this horror element to it, and of course course, you got Arnold fighting back, covering himself in the mud. Badass. So many iconic lines. This just has a solid place in action movie history as a classic. There's so many great things about it that never get old at all. After going through the entire series and seeing all the different directions that it went in, I kind of feel like going back and rewatching this one again, because I'm just thinking about all the iconic lines and moments, and it's like, you know what? I'd be down to see that again for the 8,000th time. So there we have it. That is my ranking of the Predator series. Let me know your thoughts down below on your ranking, why you feel the way that you do. We can talk about all of these movies. I really appreciate you guys sticking around throughout this series and other videos we got coming on the channel. More movie reviews, of course. I uploaded a review for the new movie Prey, of course, and Bullet Train, and I got more videos coming very soon. I want to talk about all kinds of movies, new and old. So thank you so much for watching. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more from me. Leave a thumbs up. I really appreciate all that, and I hope to see you for the next one.